Hello everybody, it's Siobhan here, the galloping housewife, on my commute out to the horses. It's Monday, and I didn't go out yesterday for no particular reason. It was Mother's Day here in Scotland, or in the UK, but that wasn't the reason. I just, honestly, I got into a very good clearing mission, and decluttering mission, and I just didn't really feel it. I was going out to do Percy, because he'd had the day off before actually, and Mitch needed a day off after 2 days of really excellent work, and so I was just going out to do Percy. I was going to take him for a long hack, and I have to say that I'm really not feeling it as far as hacking up here goes, and it's been good, but actually it's always a bit dodgy with some of the way the traffic behaves, and we had a really bad experience the last time I went out with a car that just came roaring past us, and Percy, who's fairly good in the traffic, absolutely shat himself. It could have been really bad, and so I'm just a little bit about going out again, but I need to do some fitness work on Percy, so I'm actually just going to have to suck it up at some stage, but not today. I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to flat them because it's 2 o'clock already. It's Monday, and Mondays are shit. I really hate Mondays, but not for all the reasons, like people often hate Mondays because they have to go back to work. I mean, if you work with horses or are involved in the equine industry, days of the week actually don't mean very much to you. And it's, even before this, when I was a nurse, people get sick 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So Mondays, so I've always done shift work. I've always worked throughout the week. Actually, interestingly though, I always used to do a Monday afternoon, a late shift on a Monday afternoon, either a 2:30 or a 4:30 start, and it was always the busiest shift of the week. People often think that the weekends are shitty, especially in ED, but no, it's always a Monday afternoon, and that is for very good reason. People can't access their primary health care giver over the weekend, and they don't really feel like disturbing anyone, so they go in on Monday, they get an emergency appointment, and they are then so GPs are also busy on a Monday, and the sick ones are referred up to us, and it is bog standard, and it's widely accepted across the health field as well, and in fact it's always, so the worst shift to work is the late shift on a Tuesday after a long weekend, because you've got an extra day of these people getting more sick, and also the fact that you've got 3 days worth as opposed to just 2. But back to Mondays. My Mondays are not so. I work for myself. I really enjoy most of my job. I really do enjoy it. But my problem with my Mondays is that I've got stuff that I do every Monday. So for both businesses, and it's probably the most hands-on I am with the retail business, because we do all our bill paying, and I manage all the accounts, and we do all our ordering, and we just kind of set up a little bit of strategy for the week, and that happens on a Monday. But the vast majority of that could actually be automated, and not only that, but I also have a lot of stuff for the galloping housewife, the courses and everything. The courses go out well, for some of them it's daily, but for the ones that go out on a weekly basis, it all goes out on a Monday. Plus I generally put a newsletter out either on a Monday or a Tuesday, and it needs, and I'm a last minute kind of person, so it always needs written, and it's just like, why don't I automate this? And I mean, like, I literally got up this morning and I realized that one of my dailies had I hadn't pressed send on the automation. So I mean, it's fine, it only been out a couple of hours late, but it's like, I didn't need to. I needed to set the automation up and leave it alone. It's like, yeah, and I kind of create more issues, or I create issues for myself, you know. It's like, and I have some meetings on a Monday. I always have meetings on a Monday and a Friday, and so the day ends up being, you know, it's not busy, but it's busier than it needs to be, and therefore I always feel just a little bit resentful on a Monday, and then I want to get out to the horses, and you know, I feel like I'm delaying getting out the door, and yeah, it's really interesting to see how I work. And actually, I wrote a post. I posted yesterday, and it was about, you know, the fact that I don't follow my own advice, and it's, you know, it's just another indication of that. I mean, I do, obviously I do. I mean, like, all the lessons that I've learned, and it kind of just shows that you don't have to do it all. It's just that the things that you know, you'll find things that in my courses that really resonate, that really speak to you, because they're exactly where you're at, they're exactly what you need to hear, and they're the little tweaks, the tiny little actions that are going to have a big effect. And some things will be good for some parts, and some things won't be so good for other parts. And so one of my things that I talk about quite a bit is the whole idea of habit formation, and how to set up habits, how to make them, you know, make them so we don't think. And I do it for a very, very strategic purpose, because everything that we have to think about, everything that we have to make an active decision about, actually uses up some of our willpower that we could be using for, you know, that we could be using for more sensible stuff, you know, like, or more important things, you know. But if you have to make a decision about, you know, what you're going to eat for breakfast, or you have to make a decision about whether or not you're going to do your exercise, or whether or not, or what exactly you're going to be doing when you sit down in front of your computer. If you have to make those decisions, then you haven't got your willpower there when you need to not pick up a cigarette, or when you need to not put that extra sugar in your coffee, or when, you know, or when you need to not antagonize your partner. You know, all of these things. It's like, if you only have so much willpower in the day, if you can set up these habits, then that's one less decision that you need to make. And so I'm really concentrating. I've got a little bit of what I've called myself a boot camp on for and then in the next 8 weeks, and normally it takes me about 8 weeks to get really comfortable with a habit, and for it to be installed. And so I'm really concentrating on my morning routine that I have, and also the work that I'm doing, and so getting it enough in advance, and yes, set up to automate so that I can. And the two things that I'm really aiming to do is, one is finish on time every day, and I didn't today, partly because there was a lot of stuff that I needed to do to clear the decks for the retail business, and also have weekends off. And I've never had weekends off, but I would like to really, to not be beholden to work for my weekends, and just see how that goes. I try not to respond to, actually I've just realised that, I try not to respond to emails, I try not to read emails, I try not to respond to messages and things over the weekend. I have that boundary in place, but I do still write a lot of content and do a lot of extra stuff over the weekend. And I've just realised that I did read an email yesterday and thought, no, I'll reply to it today, and I've forgotten about it. So just, it just shows that kind of like batching makes you more efficient anyway, that actually having those boundaries. If I hadn't opened the email still would have been there to read this morning, and I would have remembered to reply to it. So yeah, that's me just sort of saying, these are the things that trip me up. These are things that are tripping me up at the moment. These are the things that I'm working on personally. I need to get my automations up, I need to stick to my routines, get some habits reinstalled. But that, it's okay. I mean, that's just life. You just sort of carry on and you make one thing better, and then you move on to the next thing. It's that 1% a day for 100 days. And so I'm heading up, play with the ponies. It'll just be a little short ride, probably only half an hour or so on each one. And it's a nice day here in Scotland. It's the weather's supposed to be turning nasty tomorrow, so I'll just see how I am for the rest of the week. It's supposed to be turning cold. Different weather apps. One's got it's snowing here, and the other one's just got sort of intermittent showers and things. So yeah, we'll see who's right. So my week with the horses will depend a little bit on that. But daylight savings has started here, summer time, and it means that we're going to we've got sun in the evenings. I've just had a thought about my mother, but just wondering whether New Zealand is actually going to swap back, because I know they voted against it. Or was that America? No, it was New Zealand. Daylight savings is a stupid thing. Why do we change times? But anyway, in Scotland it's like only light for about 7 hours of the day in the middle of the winter, so really it makes fuck all difference whether it's at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, does it? Like dark when you go to work and dark when you come home. Right. I'm really rabbiting on now, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye now.